This third part we're going to do is the main bearing. This is the final drawing that I picked out from some samples. This main bearing fits on top of the base plate. Our axle is going to run through this hole. We've got an overall size of 1.5 by 2.125. I'm going to open up my solid edge ANSI part, and I'm going to do a file, save as. I'm using a template here that already has some summary or file properties information. We'll do a save as. We're going to call it part 3. If I go up here to properties and look under file properties, for the summary you'll see that I already have a lot of information in here. I'm just going to change this title to main bearing. My name should be all caps. I'm just going to say C. Junkins. And the project will be document 3. And that way that takes care of that, so we don't have to do a bunch of other things. Again, looking back here, 1.5 by 2.125. So I'm just going to take a rectangular shape. We'll select the ZX and lock it in. I'm just going to left click right on the center. And we're going to type in 1.5, hit my tab key, 2.125, tab, and I'll just type in 0. With that locked in place, if I do a Control H, or I can just click this icon down here, I get my square shape. And what I'm going to do is just take my line tool right up here. So if you're doing this online, watching it, don't be afraid to stop the video once in a while. I'm just going to do a couple of backward C's here, just sketching them in any size. And we're going to take this trim tool, and I'm going to trim some of the stuff off so it actually opens up those places. Looking back at our model, we can see what we're trying to do is this shape right here, this front view. So I'm going to start putting some constraints on here using the equal sign. I want to make sure that this line is always equal to this line. This line is going to be always equal to this line to this line. Now if you don't see these equal marks, remember you have to come up here and turn on the relationship handles. I want this line to be equal to this line, and actually that's well, we'll do this one too, just for the heck of it. So let's start at the bottom with some smart dimensions, and I know that this dimension is 0.25. So I'm just going to key in 0.25 and actually shortened it a little bit. We know that this dimension is 0.5. This dimension is going to be 1.375. This dimension is 0.25. And this dimension is also 0.25. Hit the escape key so I can zoom out just a little bit. I want to check my dimension on the bottom. It should be 1.5. Just hit enter. And looks like everything else is good here. If I just check my dimension overall from here to here, 2.125 is correct. I'll just right click to dismiss that. Now we're going to rotate this to, I'm going to actually, before I do that, I want to draw one more line starting at the center point, and I'm going up a distance of 1.4 at 90 degrees. I'm going to place a circle starting right there as my center point, and that's diameter of that circle is 1.375. So 1.375, and then just right click. Now we're going to roll it to a, actually what I can do now is take my selection tool, and just select that line I drew and just delete it. Roll this to an isometric. And we're going to start with the circle in the center. We're going to extrude this. We want to make sure we're extruding symmetrically in both directions. And I'm just going to select this face, hit the enter key, and I'm going to bring this out a distance of 2 inches. No, not 4 inches. 2 inches. There we go. Now we're going to select this other one around the outside. Left click on this, hit enter. You'll notice when I try to do this, it tries to subtract. You actually have to come up here and change this to add. So we're adding this in. And this dimension is going to be 1.5. And that's it. While we're at it, we'll go here and just check our material, make sure it still says, aluminum. We don't want aluminum. This needs to be steel. Our post was aluminum, so this needs to be steel. I thought it looked a little shiny. That's better. Now, you'll notice I need to chamfer these edges, and the chamfer on this is right here. It's 0.375 by 45 degrees. That 45 indicates it's an equal setback. So we'll come back here. We're going to go to our chamfer equal setbacks. Grab this edge, and that's going to be 0.375, and that edge. Whoops, come on, there we go. So that makes that shape. Now you'll notice on our detail that this front nose is tapered like a cone, and it's tapered at 0.250 inches at 15 degrees. How are we going to do that? Well, we're going to go to our chamfer unequal setbacks. We're going to change this to face, and I'm going to select this face right here and just hit the check mark. Here's my setback. I want this to be 0.25, and I want my angle to be 15 degrees. And now what you have to do is just left click on this front edge, hit the check mark, hold your breath, and see how that tapered it down. We're going to do the same thing, hit finish, and then we're going to do the same thing on this side. 25, 15 degrees, hit this little edge, check mark, and there we go. Now the other thing, we need to drill a hole through this that's 1/2 inch in diameter. So I'm going to take my hole tool. Oops, I got to hit finish here. There we go. Select the hole. We'll drop this down. It's going to be a simple hole, 0.5 inch diameter, and we want it to go all the way through. Hit OK. Alright, so there's our face. There we go. Now how do we find the center? I move my mouse up here right to the edge and just let it set for a second. You'll notice I just took my hand off the mouse, it found it. You'll see that center mark. Just left click, give it a second, and then right click. And there's your hole drilled all the way through. Let's look at our detail again. This is actually a bottom view right here, and it shows 2 holes drilled up that are threaded. They have a diameter of 0.211, which is part of the threading to a sequence, to a depth of 0.625, and a thread 1/4 28 UNF, a fit of 2B at a depth of 0.4. So you can see that 0.4 depth here, the 0.625 depth here, and it actually has a angled point on the front from the drill. So let's go back to our drawing. I'm going to flip this thing upside down. I'm just going to take my hole tool again, and this time we're going to select our options and change it from simple to threaded. Our thread is a 1/4-28 UNF, which is 28 threads per inch. It's a fine thread. It has a specific depth, and we see the extent of the thread is going to be 0.4. The hole depth is going to be 0.625. It has a V bottom. We'll leave it at 118 degrees. And we just say OK. And we're going to reach up here and just place this hole anywhere on the bottom. Right there is good. So we can actually see in there that it's a hole. We can see the thread stopping and then the hole continuing down. It's all pretty cool. I'm going to center that hole by just using my distance between dimension tool. From this edge to the center point is going to be 0.75. You'll notice this red arrow and this dot. This sphere will tell you that that's going to stay. It's not going to move. When this arrow tells me it's going to move move the whole portion either forward or backward. So if I hit enter now, it's actually going to slide that hole to the center. From front to back, if we look at our model, we see that that hole is 0.25 inches from the front edge. So now I've got to roll this right to the bottom. So I want this hole to be 0.25 inches from here. We'll left click on this edge. Come on, there we go. The center of this hole, pull it out. Again, we watch that hole. This is going to stay put. It's going to slide the hole backwards, 0.25. My hole comes back. Now I need to put another hole here, so I don't need to recreate another one. I'm actually going to copy this one. So if I just take my selection tool and select this hole, whoops, I'm going to hit right mouse button to get out of that tool. We've got the hole selected, it turns green, and I want to, you gotta do it this way, there. And we see this handlebar show up, and if I just, oops, I want to do this on the bottom so it shows up good. When I left click on that center, you'll notice it goes, and I can click on that blue handle again. What I want to do is click here, so it moves that arrow around. Now I'm going to select this arrow, and I want to make sure this box is checked up here, which is my copy box. So when I move this up, I want to move it 1 inch. Hit 1 and enter, and it actually makes a copy of that hole in that direction. Very cool. It's actually now a completed model. We'll do a file, save, part 3, and we'll switch over to our template draft file. And what we'll do is bring in our view wizard for part 3, say open. Next, and what I want is my front view, and just say finish. This tries to come in at 2:1. I actually want this in at 1:1 because I'm actually going to put some more views. So I'm going to place my front view right here and then move this over and place my side view. Right click and then select this one and move it down, so it's going to give me a bottom view. Now we can we'll put a little text on here. So we'll say front view. If I can spell it right. Oh, maybe I had it. Did. Side view. And bottom view. And I just kind of place those out there because what I'll do is select those and kind of move them around, give myself a little bit more room to play with. And we'll start up here. I'm going to start putting some dimensions on this. My dimensions and I'll start from the outside and work my way in. From the top edge to the bottom edge, 2.125. Now we can also I'm going to put a center mark on our circles. And we also have this option, which is center line. We can put center lines. You'll notice it extends them out a little bit for you. Very easy to put in. And something that you can dimension to. So if I put this in here, and I'll put a dimension from my base to that center line, should be 1.4. We've got a dimension from this side to this side at 1.5. Dimension, whoops, right click, reset it. 0.75 to the center. Get a dimension from this point to this point, 0.25, and see how I can pull that dimension out. This point, whoops, right click again, I have to reset it, otherwise it wants to keep putting dimensions in there. See how this 5 got kind of tied in here? I can just take that and just move it out. Just like that. So, a couple of funky dimensions here now. Get this angle. We'll do that one first. It's a 0.375 by 45. So if I take my chamfer dimension, we're going to set it to call out perpendicular. And I want to put a prefix on there. We'll clear this one. And we're going to put 2x. And then we'll just pop. Hopefully, oops, you got to hit the side you don't want the dimension on. So we got 2 times 0.375 by 45. Good. Clear that. Now the other thing we need to put on is a diameter, and we can do this. We'll just say OK on this. We hit this X. We have other types of dimensions, and let's just do a. This one has a limit, upper and lower limit. I know that the upper limit on this at 4 decimal places is going to be 0.0028. We look at we see we have a minimum dimension of 0.5 and an upper dimension of 0.5028, so it's a little larger. So by adding that in and selecting this hole now, I got to click once to. Try it again. I don't think it liked me going off on it there. Smart dimension. Okay, we're still good. Select this hole, and I want to make sure it's 4 decimal places. So it shows me the diameter 0.5028 upper, 0.5000 on the lower, because we drilled the hole on the lower level. Okay? And we also have, over on this side, we're going to put a diameter on this piece. So if I take my smart dimension, we're just going to change this back to nominal. Now I want to put 2x in a diameter symbol. We're going to select and then go from this point to this point 2 times a diameter of 1.375, and we'll pull that out in this direction. Clear our comments. We're going to put a dimension from end, whoops, I always forget to right click that last time, 2 inches all the way across and 1.5 inches. We've got another chamfer dimension down here, and I'll try to put that over here. See if it'll fit. Oops, gotta get this line first and then this line. We'll throw it down here on the bottom. It's nice and open. You can see our dimensions are kind of spread out. Now down here at the bottom, we only need to note these holes. Now, we know it's 2 times, and I'm going to try something here. I just want to see what happens if we do a hole call out. And I select still in, oh, I gotta go to smart dimension. Now we can go to hole call out. Well, it almost gives it to us. We need to add some more stuff in here. It needs to say right click on this. This needs to say 2 times, we're going to get the diameter 211 to a depth of 0.625, and then subfix. This is going to put this on a separate line underneath 1/4 -28 space UNF -2B space to a depth of 0.400. Hit apply, and I'm just going to go back to a nominal dimension because I want to grab this inside ring so it picks up that diameter on the inside. So now this says 2 times the diameter of 0.211 to a depth of 0.625 with a 1/4 28 UNF 2B fit, depth of 0.4 for the threads, and we left click on that right there. We're going to look down here at the bottom, see how our material, we know that this part is going to weigh 1.254 pounds of mass. Our date is right, our drawing number is right, everything looks good. Clear this, close it out, do a file. And this is still set to template draft up here. We're going to do a save as, and we're going to call it part 3. And then I'm going to do a file print. I'm printing this to an Adobe document. I'm going to say OK. And you notice I got a folder up here called prints. So we've got, I already had one called main bearing because I was playing around with it. I'll just overwrite it with this one. Yes. No. Gives me that warning because I have it open. This one. Part 3 main bearing. So I'm just going to close this so I can overwrite it with the new one. Now, Not gonna last that long. Now it's just going to say yes, and we want to replace it. It actually opens up my Adobe, and there's my new file with my new information on it, all ready to print and turn in or turn into the part of my portfolio. And that is it for part number 3, the main bearing.